Hello, once again, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is 5 Minute Literature, and today we're discussing the genres of literature. Now, if I ask you, is that word pronounced as genre or genres? Yes, it's genres, different word, right? Today we're discussing the three genres of literature, which are poetry, drama, and prose. And we are discussing it according to this order because I believe, and some school of thought believe, that poetry is the oldest genre of literature, not drama, but we can't tell now because that's different, there are different, there's a lot of controversy around that. So let's look at poetry. Now, poetry is one of the simplest, but can be very tricky due to the use of language. It makes use of carefully chosen words. The form of writing that uses rhythm, it uses imagery with these words to express emotions, to express ideas, to express stories in order to create musical or emotional effect. Too much words, right? Let me break it down for you. Now, have you heard of this song, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Now, you can see that the vowels at the end of each line is being amplified to create a musical effect. Now, you can also imagine stars. You can imagine the peace that comes with the night. You can imagine the calmness that comes with the night. You can imagine the calmness of the wind. You can imagine the shadows. You can imagine moonlight stories. Because why? There are carefully chosen words that are being what that are being involved in this literary work of art to create a picture, to create an effect in this literary work of art. Now, this is poetry, right? And if you want to look at the different types or examples of poetry, because we have numerous examples of poetry, but let's look at Haiku. Haiku is a three-line Japanese poem about nature, a poem that discusses about nature. You can even say, take a little star, it was just that it's already known from Japan, we can just say that it's an example of a poem that talks about nature, right? Now let's look at Sonnet, one of the most popular poet that you should know at the center of literature is Shakespeare. Shakespeare wrote a lot, tons and millions of poems that you need to understand because those poems have different value and different understanding and different stories attached to them, right? There's also Limerick, a five-line poem with bouncy relay that is a poem that gives a musical tone. There is free verse, there is Ballad, a narrative poem that tells story. For example, one popular one that I still love today, once upon is it once upon a time? No. Yeah. The Non-Priest Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. That is a poem I can never forget. Absolutely. In fact, there are two to three stories in that poem. Is a poem that has over 100 line in it and about so many stanzas that has it kind of like narrate a story and there's a dream in a dream inside that same story. So you can see poems like that. You can find the acrostic poem where first letters of each line spell a word. You can see that one in if you go online and you can see examples of those. But I'll just give one. There is laughing together brings us joy. Open heart that never destroy. Valuing each moment we share. Eternal bond beyond compare. You can see that if you look at the fourth letter of this line, you notice that it spells out the word love. There are also poems that are epic, long poems about heroic adventures, right? There are also the ode, poem that praise or celebrates something. Now, these poems are basically a mode of expression, right? They express different things, they express different stories. So you cannot limit one. You will always see different kind of this expression in a poem, right? So if you are a student of literature, one of the major things that you should learn to do is to learn how to study poems because you always come across them. They are not hard to analyze, but we'll get to a stage where we'll start analyzing literary work. But for now, let's learn the basics so that we can build up our foundation and it'll be very easy for us to start making literary analysis and criticism. All right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.